We often think that freedom means escaping from our responsibilities. The idea of leaving behind the daily grind and the pressures of work can seem incredibly appealing. We imagine that by stepping away from our duties we can finally experience true liberation. We dream of a life without work or obligations, a life where we can do whatever we want whenever we want without any constraints or deadlines. This vision of freedom is enticing, but it is also misleading. However, true freedom is not about avoiding action. It's not about running away from our responsibilities or seeking refuge in inactivity. True freedom is about engaging with life in a meaningful way, understanding our actions and their consequences. It is about understanding the nature of action itself. When we comprehend the deeper implications of our actions, we realize that every choice we make has a ripple effect, influencing not just our lives but the lives of others as well. Abstaining from work does not erase our karmic responsibilities. Our past actions continue to shape our present and future, regardless of whether we choose to engage with the world or withdraw from it. It is an illusion to think that simply by not doing, we are free from the consequences of our past actions. The law of karma operates beyond our physical actions. It encompasses our thoughts and intentions as well. Karma is a subtle law of cause and effect. It is an intricate web that connects our actions, thoughts, and intentions, creating a tapestry of experiences that shape our lives. It operates on the level of our thoughts, words, and deeds. Every thought we think, every word we speak, and every action we take sends out ripples into the universe, influencing the world around us. Every action, whether physical or mental, creates a ripple effect in the universe. These ripples interact with the ripples created by others, creating a complex web of cause and effect. These ripples eventually return to us, shaping our experiences. The energy we put out into the world comes back to us, often in ways we do not expect. We cannot escape this cycle by simply withdrawing from the world. Isolation may provide temporary relief, but it does not absolve us of our past actions or their consequences. In fact, such withdrawal can create its own set of karmic consequences. By avoiding our responsibilities, we may inadvertently create new negative karma, perpetuating the cycle of cause and effect. Imagine a person who has wronged others in the past. They may feel that by retreating from society they can escape the repercussions of their actions. They decide to retreat to a solitary life, hoping to escape the repercussions of their actions. However, the karmic seeds they have sown will continue to bear fruit, regardless of their physical location. While they may find temporary solace in solitude, the karmic seeds they have sown will continue to bear fruit. True peace and freedom come from facing our actions and their consequences head-on. True freedom comes from taking responsibility for our actions and actively working to create positive karma. By engaging with the world in a mindful and compassionate way, we can transform our lives and the lives of others, creating a ripple effect of positive change. We often associate karma with physical actions, but our thoughts are equally potent in shaping our reality. The mind is a powerful tool, and the thoughts we harbor can have profound effects on our lives. Every thought we entertain carries a certain vibration. These vibrations are like ripples in a pond, spreading out and touching everything around us. This vibration attracts similar vibrations from the universe, influencing our experiences. Positive thoughts can bring about positive outcomes, while negative thoughts can lead to negative consequences. Negative thoughts such as anger, greed, and jealousy create negative karma. These emotions not only affect our mental state but also our physical well-being. They bind us to a cycle of suffering. This cycle can feel like an endless loop, where one negative thought leads to another, creating a downward spiral. Our minds are constantly active, generating an endless stream of thoughts. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in this mental chatter. Most of these thoughts are repetitive and unproductive, keeping us trapped in familiar patterns of behavior. We often find ourselves stuck in routines that don't serve our higher purpose. We become entangled in a web of our own making. This web can be difficult to escape, as it is reinforced by our own thoughts and beliefs. To break free from this cycle, we need to become aware of our thoughts. Awareness is the first step towards change. We need to learn to observe them without judgment. By observing our thoughts, we can begin to understand their origins and their impact on our lives. Through mindfulness and meditation, we can begin to quiet the incessant chatter of the mind. This practice allows us to create a space of inner peace and clarity. This creates space for more positive and uplifting thoughts to emerge. As we cultivate these positive thoughts, we can transform our reality and break free from the chains of negative karma. One of the most challenging aspects of the spiritual path is learning to act without attachment to the results. This concept, deeply rooted in ancient wisdom, teaches us to focus on our actions rather than the outcomes. We are naturally goal-oriented beings, striving for success and fulfillment. Our society often measures worth by achievements and milestones. However, this attachment to outcomes can create suffering. The constant pressure to succeed can lead to stress and anxiety. When we are attached to the fruits of our actions, we become anxious about the future. We worry about whether our efforts will pay off. We fear failure and cling to success. This duality traps us in a cycle of highs and lows, making our happiness dependent on external factors. The key to liberation is to act with detachment. By letting go of our attachment to results, we can find peace in the present moment. This doesn't mean becoming indifferent or passive. Instead, it encourages us to engage fully in our tasks with dedication and love. It means offering our actions to a higher purpose, without being attached to the outcome. This shift in perspective can transform our approach to life. When we act from a place of detachment, we are free to pour our hearts into our endeavors without the burden of expectation. This freedom allows us to be more creative and authentic. We can find joy in the process itself, knowing that we have done our best. The journey becomes as rewarding as the destination. This is the essence of karma yoga, the path of selfless action. By serving others without expecting anything in return, we align ourselves with a higher purpose and experience true fulfillment. In many spiritual traditions, renunciation is seen as a path to liberation. However, true renunciation is not about physically withdrawing from the world. It is about renouncing our attachment to material possessions, sensory pleasures, and egoic desires. Merely giving up worldly possessions does not guarantee spiritual enlightenment. It is possible to live a simple life outwardly, while remaining deeply attached to material things inwardly. True renunciation is an internal process. It involves purifying our thoughts, cultivating virtues, and developing a deep understanding of the impermanent nature of reality. It is about shifting our focus from the external world to the inner world of our own being. When we let go of our attachments, we create space for true knowledge and wisdom to arise. Section 5. The Power of Purity. How a clear mind paves the way for true knowledge. Our minds are like mirrors. When our minds are clouded with impurities such as anger, greed, and delusion, we cannot perceive reality clearly. Our perceptions are distorted, and we make choices that lead to suffering. Just as we clean a dirty mirror to see our reflection clearly, we need to purify our minds to attain true knowledge. Mental purity is not something that can be achieved overnight. It requires consistent effort and discipline. Through practices such as meditation, mindfulness, and ethical conduct, we can gradually remove the impurities that obscure our true nature. As our minds become clearer, we begin to see the world with greater clarity and understanding. We develop wisdom and compassion, and our actions become aligned with our highest good. Section 6. Aligning Thought and Action, a prerequisite for spiritual progress. Our thoughts are the seeds of our actions. If our thoughts are pure, our actions will naturally follow suit. When our thoughts, words, and deeds are in harmony, we create a powerful force for positive change in our lives and the world around us. However, when there is a discrepancy between our thoughts and actions, we create inner conflict and disharmony. This dissonance hinders our spiritual progress. To achieve true freedom, we need to align our thoughts, words, and deeds with our highest aspirations. This requires self-awareness, honesty, and a willingness to change. We need to identify the negative patterns of thought and behavior that are holding us back. We need to cultivate positive qualities such as kindness, compassion, and integrity. Section 7. Karma, Yoga, and Sankhya Yoga, two sides of the same coin. In the yogic tradition, there are two main paths to liberation: Karma Yoga and Sankhya Yoga. Karma Yoga is the path of selfless action. It emphasizes the importance of fulfilling our duties and responsibilities in the world without attachment to the results. Sankhya Yoga, on the other hand, is the path of knowledge. It focuses on cultivating a deep understanding of the nature of reality through meditation, contemplation, and self-inquiry. While these two paths may seem different on the surface, they are actually complementary aspects of a holistic approach to spiritual growth. Karma Yoga helps us to purify our hearts through selfless service. Sankhya Yoga helps us to purify our minds through self-knowledge. Section 8. The synthesis of action and knowledge, a holistic approach to liberation. True freedom requires a balanced approach that integrates both action and knowledge. We cannot attain liberation through action alone, nor can we achieve it through knowledge alone. Action without knowledge is blind. Knowledge without action is sterile. When we combine selfless action with wisdom and understanding, we create a powerful synergy that propels us towards our ultimate goal of liberation. This integrated approach allows us to live in the world but not be of the world. We can fulfill our responsibilities with joy and detachment, knowing that we are not defined by our actions. We can approach life's challenges with equanimity, knowing that everything is impermanent. Section 9. Conclusion. Embracing the journey to true freedom. The journey to true freedom is a process of self-discovery and transformation. It is a journey that requires both inner and outer work. By understanding the interplay of karma, renunciation, action, and knowledge, we can navigate this path with greater clarity and purpose. We can learn to act with wisdom and compassion, creating a life of meaning and fulfillment. The ultimate goal is not to escape from the world but to transform ourselves so that we can be of service to others. When we free ourselves from the chains of ignorance and attachment, we can experience the boundless joy and peace that comes from living in alignment with our true nature.